This is unlisted. Okay, this is unlisted, so All right, there we go. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me look at settings. Users. Hold up. Hold on. I'm trying to figure this thing out for voice and video. Hello? 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 Oh my god, hold up. Oh, hello? Okay. Can you hear me, Ethan? Yeah, I can hear you. All right. What do you think of the mic? Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good, dog. Yeah, you're good, man. Hold on. Let me check OBS. Say something real quick. What's up? All right. All right. Say it one more time.
What's up?
All right. I think people can hear you. Desktop audio is good. The camera intro audio is good. My audio is good. We're going live in 1 minute. So I'm going to do my intro, and then we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. All right?
Sounds good.
Okay, dog. I'm excited for this.
All so right. What are we talking about? Just like 2022
we're gonna
wrap up?
We're first going to talk about the snowstorm and severe weather and everything. Then we'll talk about wet weather. I have some stuff about Brasso if we want to get to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But
is it about the Andrew Tate thing?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. All right, we're going live pretty soon. I'm gonna be on Instagram promoting it. So if it seems like I'm a little off and everything like that, it's because I'll be doing that. So yeah, I'll be.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, we are going live in 3, 2, 1. What is up, weather enthusiasts? I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather. And tonight, we're doing a live stream. It's New Year's Eve, and joining me as my co-host is Ethan WX.
What's up, everyone? How are we doing?
All right. Okay. Now that that's taken care of. All right. Let me go ahead and do this real quickly. All right. We are live.
Don't mind if I'm coughing a bit because I got COVID, so
yeah,
I'm still dealing with a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So far I'm doing all right. But yeah, we're gonna have a good night tonight. Live stream. Okay, but anyway, yeah, we're gonna have a good night tonight. Yeah, we have plenty of things we have for you guys. But before we do that, Ethan, how was your Christmas?
It was pretty good. Other than being sick for a whole week, that part sucked. But other than that, pretty decent Christmas overall.
I'm glad to hear that. My Christmas was really good. I got this mic right here, and a
Yeah.
bunch of other equipment. So, yeah, no
Yeah,
harm,
noticed.
no foul, my guy. But yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and do this real quickly. I'm just taking care of a couple of things. All right, there we go. All right, all right. Okay, let me check this real quickly. Okay, all right, we got a couple. All right, we got a few concurrent viewers coming in. Oh, David Nelson has joined the chat. Thank you for joining, David. So, yeah. So
Hello, how's it going, everyone?
yeah,
It says we got 2 people watching right now.
yeah. Oh, and for those of you, could you, if you can, could you type in the chat if you can hear Ethan? I just want to make sure everything's set up correctly. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take care of this.
Hold on. Okay, yeah, your stream is
All right.
working.
Okay, Ethan can hear us. Ethan can hear.
Yeah,
Okay,
he said he can hear
David.
us. So.
Sorry, David. You're Ethan. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this.
I have the stream up just to make sure everything is working from my end.
Good. Okay. All right. I'm just doing one more thing, and then we will be good to go for tonight. All right. Paste. All right, we got a few concurrent viewers. It's really nice to see people showing up for this. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's New Year's Eve too, so yeah, everyone's probably out celebrating and everything like that. Nope, we're talking about weather here. Oh,
never stop.
Yeah, we never stop. Oh, and if you're wondering why my hair looks a little weird and everything, I'm wearing my headphones right here, and since I'm talking with Ethan and everything like that, so yeah, that's what we're doing. So, all right, let's go ahead and get right into the weather. You ready, Ethan? I'm gonna first stream it to you on Discord real quickly. There we go.
Okay, let me pull that up.
All right. Can you see? Can you see that, Ethan? All right.
Yep, I can see it.
All right, we're good to go. All right, just checking that. All right, we're good to go, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what we have for you for tonight. So basically, here's what we're going to start with. We have another mid-latitude cyclone moving through right after New Year's Day. The snow actually starts on New Year's Day. Basically, it's going to be starting in the Great Plains. We have winter storm warnings out now. They've been issuing them for parts of Nebraska, parts of Nebraska, parts of Wyoming. All those areas right there, Ethan, you can see this, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. So basically,
I can also see it on your stream. So
I'm sorry
if Discord goes down.
Okay.
I have it pulled up on the stream and on Discord.
All
so
right. Okay,
if
excellent.
one of them goes down, then I can still see it.
All right, there's a 10-second delay on the stream, but anyway. All right, so basically we're gonna go ahead. Basically, we have some winter storm warnings. We're gonna go ahead and show that to you guys real quickly. For those of you who are tuning in from Nebraska and Wyoming, heavy. Okay, this is for parts of the Rocky Mountains right here. I was about to say 2 to 4 feet of snow in the Great Plains is a lot of bad news. Wouldn't you agree, Ethan?
Yeah, and look at that right there. Winds of 65 wind gusts as high as 65 miles per hour. That means a lot of blowing and drifting too.
Yeah, that's going to be up in the mountains though. We're going to go ahead and move to Nebraska. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen, but we did cover Wyoming for you guys. So, yeah. So basically this is what we're looking at. Heavy snow expected, 6 to 12 inches of snow from 5 p.m. New Year's Day until 11 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Monday. That's what we're looking at right there for the Nebraska Panhandle. And that's the winter storm warnings that have been issued so far. We're looking at winter storm watches for all the way to parts of Minnesota, for parts of Minneapolis now. We've been seeing 6 to 10, 3 to 5 inches of snow for those areas. 6 to 11 inches of snow for the Minneapolis area, Ethan. That's not a small amount of snow, but if you're in Minnesota, all the snow is pretty much small because they can take care of it.
Yeah, it won't be as bad as last week's winter storm just because it's not going to be as cold, not as much wind, but still, definitely something to be aware of. But up in Minnesota, they're pretty well prepared for this, so I don't think it'll really cause that many issues up there.
All right. Okay, excellent. 6 to 11 inches of snow. I've been seeing 3 to 5, but also mixed precipitation in parts of Nebraska, South Dakota as well. I think that's to be expected with this system. We're going to go ahead and show the College of DuPage model right here. We're going to go ahead and first move to the Central Great Plains. We're going to go ahead and, and convective. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. We're going to go ahead and do precipitation type for the NAM, and this is the latest NAM that's coming in. If it's not all the way out, I do apologize. I don't control the models. I wish I absolutely did, but that's not how that works. Ethan, you can see this, right?
Yep, I can see it.
All right, so and if you have commentary, Ethan, feel free to input it.
Will do.
Yeah, I invited you here for a reason, but okay. So this is what we're looking at for the NAM model, and this is for the next 24 hours. So basically, the storm has already started to form technically, and it's gonna start. It's just gonna strengthen. It's not exactly a Colorado low or anything like that. It's going too far to the north for it to be considered that. But it's pretty interesting if you think about it for 2 seconds. We're looking at Wyoming gets blanketed with a lot of snow. Parts of South Dakota and Nebraska do as well. We're looking at 24 dBz. How much? Well, what's a good snowfall rate when we're seeing that, Ethan?
That's pretty intense. Depending on the temperatures, that could be, and especially with the terrain out there, a lot of mountains. That could be 2 to 3 inches per hour. If that verifies.
All right. What about in Nebraska and South Dakota? I'd say a good inch per hour.
Yeah, I'd say so too. So that's definitely going to be some pretty intense snowfall. I would think most people living in those areas are pretty well prepared for it, but still, it's not something you want to get caught out in.
Right. Of course. So yeah, that's where we're at right now with this. So basically, we can't go any further out because the NAM won't let me. We're gonna go ahead and look at snowfall accumulations. Just to make things a little simpler, we're gonna use the 18Z.
Pull up the GFS. I would pull up the GFS.
I'll pull up the GFS in a second as well. So this is what the NAM had for the 18Z. Looks like a pretty messy storm for a lot of the Great Plains, especially in Minneapolis. I mean, basically, the difference between snow and ice is literally like 10 miles, basically. That's what we're looking at when it comes to that. And look at how heavy. We're looking at 31 dBz for Minneapolis. That's pretty crazy right there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a brief period of just very heavy snowfall. And also, they're going to be close to the freezing line, so probably heavier wet snow there.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Things could change. We still have another 2 days or so before that gets there.
I absolutely agree. That's the NAM. We're going to pull up the GFS system as well, just to show, kind of compare and contrast right there. This is what the GFS is saying. This isn't as good of quality as the NAM, but this is also a further range model, so it's kind of trading for the two, basically. So this is what we're looking at right here with the GFS, and kind of a similar thing, except it doesn't have that much precipitation until we get to Minnesota, which is kind of interesting. It also has a little further up north to the north than the NAM, so if you think about it, if you're looking at this, Ethan.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, good.
Yeah, it pushes the rain snow line a bit further north over Nebraska and South Dakota.
Yeah. All right. Okay, good. I've seen Minneapolis, like Ramsey County, Hennepin County, which is Minneapolis and St. Paul, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong if you're from Minnesota, but they're looking at either snow or freezing precipitation. It's that line is literally right there.
Yeah, it could be a situation where we start as snow, then it turns over to freezing rain or sleet for a little while, and then it changes back to snow before it gets cold on the backside of that system. So yeah, it could be one of those events where you see mixed precipitation.
Okay, perfect. All right, so now the big question is, this is what everyone wants to know on my videos. Patrick, how much snow are we looking for? So, Ethan, we're going to show you the NAM, the Euro, and the GFS for snowfall totals. So basically, if you're following this, you're seeing this whole thing, right?
Yep, I can see what you're looking at.
Yeah, this is what the NAM actually has, and I kind of was talking about it a little bit ago. It's pretty interesting. I made a video earlier today talking about this. Look at this. The NAM actually has been a bit more aggressive for parts of Minneapolis, actually.
The NAM has a tendency to do that because I think it runs just based off of like a 10-to-1 rain to snow ratio. So
this is the Kuchera rate.
If you get and the rate, and the NAM also tends to show really high reflectivity values.
Yep.
So I think it could be overdoing that snow
All right.
by a good bit because it tends to just go. The NAM has a tendency to just go crazy with the snowfall totals and massively overestimate them in the highest bands. So
All right.
I would say that that's definitely an overestimate, but
do you think it's due to compression?
Yeah, I think that might be part of the problem. I would say, what was the other one you just had pulled up there?
All right. Okay. All right. So this is what we had. This is the 10-1 right here, and this is Kuchera.
Yeah, I think that this one is overdone.
You think it's not taking into consideration?
I think it's I think there's too much compression with that band. It's showing the reflectivity value is too high. I doubt there will be that much snow in Minnesota, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I think there'll be some areas that get a foot or more, but I don't see anywhere getting 2 feet.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit aggressive when I saw that. These are all preliminary estimates from what I understand. We're going to go ahead and show the European system next, and the European run actually has this further down to the south, blanketing pretty much almost all of Nebraska and a bunch of snow right there. And that's pretty interesting.
It looks like it has it a lot further south of Minneapolis, too.
Yeah.
Minneapolis would be somewhere right along that line where it goes from light blue to purple.
Right. Yeah, basically Minneapolis is still getting 10 inches of snow, so
because there's a chance that it shifts south of. There's a chance that it shifts south of Minneapolis or north enough that they end up getting freezing rain and not much snow because of that. So it's going to be a tough to forecast storm for that region. We're not going to really know for sure until tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So that's the European run, and the GFS. This has it as a thinner, more to the north system right here. It also seems to be somewhat reasonable when it comes to the snow totals, except for this.
Yeah, it's a bit more reasonable. The NAM is always the highest. The NAM always goes overboard with it.
I always felt like the NAM was more of the bellwether and everything, because if we're looking at it, the GFS is to the north, the Euro's to the south, and the NAM's kind of more in the middle, basically, if you think about it.
I think in terms of placement, the NAM is better, but when it comes to the totals, I wouldn't trust those from the NAM. I would go with GFS totals seem more reasonable.
Yeah. All right.
I still don't think it'll be 20 inches of snow, maybe, but I'd say 12 to 18 is what's most likely.
I mean, I'll say
wherever that heaviest band sets up.
I mean, I will say, the folks in Minnesota, especially our friend Matt up there, is going to have a good day up there if that's the case.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and move to the severe weather threat we have right here. This is the day 3 outlook. Ethan, can you see this?
Yeah, I can see we got a pretty large enhanced risk.
Yeah.
Actually, in the same area as the November 4th outbreak, for those of you who tracked and followed that.
Yeah. Yeah, this is interesting, too. The November 30th was also in a similar area, if I'm correct.
It was the 29th, and that was a bit further east in Mississippi and Louisiana. Yeah. Or eastern Louisiana, as opposed to Shreveport and the Texarkana region.
Yeah, of course.
This is closer to where November 4th was.
All right. Yeah, okay, but yeah, this is the enhanced risk we have right here. Look at this. There is an enhanced risk. This is all in caps, Ethan. There is an enhanced risk of severe storms across southeast Oklahoma, northeast Texas, into northern Louisiana, and southern central Arkansas. That's your typical thing right there, and I can understand why it's in all caps, because you don't see this every day, Ethan. You don't see this every day.
Yeah, day 3 enhanced risk usually means that they're pretty confident in some sort of severe weather event happening. Let's keep reading that discussion and see what else they have to say.
All right, and then we'll break it down in layman's terms. Summary: severe thunderstorms are expected Monday and Monday night from eastern Oklahoma and Texas into Louisiana and Arkansas and vicinity. Damaging gusts and tornadoes will be the main hazards of these storms. So that's your summary right there, folks. And then it gets into the nitty-gritty details right here. So, yeah, Ethan, you want to read a little bit of this, and then we can basically explain what that means to the folks who are tuning in.
Yeah, I'm reading it. Basically, they're saying that they're uncertain about the timing of this event.
Right.
Usually, these type of events tend to take place later in the evening during the winter. That's one thing that I've noticed.
Right.
Because that's when the LLJ, low-level jet, is usually the strongest, and that's what helps tornadic events form better in the winter months. So I think that timing is really going to depend on well, how severe this outbreak is will really depend on the timing of that and how it all comes together. But I haven't really looked at this event much. I just knew that there was an enhanced risk. I would say that this is probably going to be your typical QLCS type linear storm system with embedded tornadoes and widespread damaging winds.
Okay.
But I have to look more at the models to see if we're going to have a more discrete storm setup or a more organized linear type system.
We can pull them up right now, actually. Let's go ahead and go to the Southern Great Plains, because that has the biggest area in my opinion out of all these. But hey, we're gonna first show the Cape, and then we're gonna show the other stuff, because I want you to take a look at this Cape, and I want your opinion on this, because this is for January 2nd, and this is the GFS Cape right here. We're looking at over 1,000 joules per kilogram, and these are still preliminary estimates right here.
Yeah, and a lot of the models have a tendency to underdo this. So,
yeah,
and honestly, 1,000 to 1,500 is pretty good values for early January for the middle of winter. So,
yeah, and
it's more than enough to get severe weather, assuming that there's a strong enough forcing mechanism with the main storm system.
Yeah, and this is just the GFS. This is what the NAM has to say right here. We're looking at potentially up to 2,000 in parts of northeastern Texas right there, and if you don't mind, could you explain why a less Cape in the Deep South is better than basically the same amount of Cape in the Great Plains?
Deep South and Plains events are a bit different in that in the Deep South, the severity of the tornado outbreak really depends on the strength of the parent storm system, the main mid-latitude cyclone, as well as wind shear. That's really the main thing: moisture transport and wind shear coming right off the Gulf. That's how you get big tornado outbreaks in the South during the winter. You don't really need a lot of deep convection or high storm tops for that. And severe weather can form with a lot of wind shear and pretty modest Cape values, only 1,000, like we're seeing today. Whereas over the plains during the summer, you need higher Cape to overcome the convective inhibition and produce more vigorous severe storms. Like you might need 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 Cape during the middle of late May or June or even July for the Central Plains. So yeah, these wintertime events are a little bit different, but these events usually produce a lot more tornadoes because of the wind shear, and also longer track tornadoes, faster moving, and you also don't see much hail with these storms because they have much lower tops and there's not as much ice content in these storms.
Okay. All right. Thank you for summing that up, Ethan. So is it the SIN I'm looking at? First of all, the SIN, or the cap, which basically it's at this point we have little cap with this Cape right here. We don't, even in the morning, we don't have that much cap. We don't have that much. We have some. Maybe
you almost never have a cap with Deep South winter events.
Yeah,
it's just something you don't see much.
Yeah,
because that's not really with the plains events during like May, June, July. The cap is a very real challenge for storms to overcome, but this time of year it doesn't matter, and you really never see it.
Yeah. So that's why
you're seeing. Yeah. That's why you're seeing very little CIN values, and in a lot of places it's 0.
Yeah. All right. Now that we're done basically messing around with the Cape, let's go ahead and show them the precipitation, the reflectivity right here. This may look like a QLCS later on, but I think, look, are you seeing this right here? This is the first wave right here, and we're looking at values of 46 dBz. That's a lot for rain, especially right there.
Yeah, it just looks like a lot of morning convection, thunderstorms, rain, maybe some embedded wind gusts with that.
This is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
So do you think this is the main event, or are we looking at something?
This is what we're looking at, and this is midnight on Tuesday.
Yeah, I would think what's most likely going to happen is you're going to see you're going to have that morning batch of storms that's going to move off to the north, and then behind that you're just going to get storms that keep firing and firing, and eventually they consolidate into a line like what you're seeing on here.
Yeah, That stuff kind of happens. That can also cause some significant flooding, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's definitely a chance if you have storms repeatedly moving over the same area for a lot of flash flooding.
Right.
I haven't checked to see what the NWS thinks about that. If they think there'll be any severe flooding.
Right.
I'm actually going to look right now.
All right. Go ahead and take a look at that. Yeah.
Because that could also be another thing that
Yeah.
people need to watch out for.
Yeah. So this event, this is at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, we're looking at potentially QLCS with this from even
The
from the name.
WPC has already put out a slight risk of flooding for basically all of western Louisiana, eastern part of Texas, and pretty much the whole state of Arkansas.
So for our viewers who are tuning in, does a slight risk actually mean there's a slight risk of flooding, or is this like saying you should take precaution?
It's basically an outlook of precaution. It's basically just saying like the way it's defined on here, risk of rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance within 25 miles of a point. It's 15% for a slight risk. So it's basically just a kind of like hey, stay aware that there might be flash flooding in places that get repetitive storms.
Okay.
And lots of rain.
All right. So, is there anything else you want to talk about with this system before we switch to our next topic?
I would just say, really, next 2 days, just keep your eye on it for if any of you guys are watching from that region, because there's still the potential for it to become a major severe weather event. But
okay,
right now, I think it's mostly just it's going to be your standard deep south severe weather event with a lot of rain, a lot of thunderstorms forming, and some embedded tornadoes. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Is everything about to explode?
Not yet. We're not there yet.
You know where I got that from, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah, Weatherman Plus.
Weatherman Plus.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic. I switched the scene so you have the new station background and everything like that. I want to talk about the kind of events we saw in 2022. That's our next topic for you guys tonight. But yeah, Ethan, what are the top 3 weather events of 2022 that you could name? That you think, in your opinion?
If we're talking about in the U.S., I think the number one biggest highlight of this year, and I'm sure many of the people watching and many of the people who are affected by it would agree, is Hurricane Ian.
Oh, absolutely.
Was probably the biggest highlight of this year.
All right.
A borderline Category 5 storm making landfall in Southwest Florida.
Yeah. All right. What's number 2, in your opinion?
Number 2, honestly, might be the winter storm we just had in the central and eastern U.S. And the blizzard that occurred in Buffalo too. That was a truly historic storm.
No, that was the same system, by the way. That was the same system.
Yep, it was.
Yeah.
That whole storm system was just incredible, honestly.
Yeah, last time I checked, 91 people were killed. I'm not sure if that death toll has gone any higher, but that's what I saw last time.
Yeah, over 40 of them were in New York alone, most of them in Buffalo. Yeah, a very unfortunate situation over there. Apparently there's been mass looting, and they hadn't been able to bring emergency services out for a while.
Yeah.
Yep, 91 fatalities, 56.5 inches of snow.
Jesus.
Mac.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is Buffalo experienced 37 hours of blizzard conditions during that storm, the longest on record.
Mm-hmm. Wait, how long? How long?
37 hours of continuous blizzard conditions.
Well, I hope Keemstar had a good day.
Yeah, and the peak wind gusts reached 79 miles per hour with that storm.
Yeah. All right. So what's number 3 in your opinion?
That's a tough one. Hurricane Fiona was very interesting.
Yeah.
It's another very, very fun storm to track, especially with its incredible extratropical transition up in Canada, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland.
Yeah, I saw that. We were tracking that. A lot of storm chasers went up there to see that. It was absolutely amazing. It was I wouldn't say amazing because it still caused a lot of damage, but it was incredible.
Yeah, that was really one of the coolest transitions from a hurricane to a mid-latitude cyclone that I've ever seen. And then Yeah, Fiona was a very interesting storm. Trying to think of what other really historic severe weather events stuck out this year. There's also the floods back in July that impacted Kentucky and St. Louis, where you are.
Yeah, you just doxed me.
Well, yeah, that general region, but
yeah. Yeah, basically, yeah, that area was just yeah, I remember seeing that. It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting year altogether in terms of severe weather.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. So yeah, it's a split decision for you when it comes to number 3, basically.
Yeah, it's hard. I could definitely say that Hurricane Ian and the Buffalo Blizzard were probably number 1 and 2. Number 3 is kind of tough between a couple events, honestly.
Yeah. So,
although we did have some pretty nice tornadic events this year.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, Ethan, go ahead and ask me.
What would you say were your top 3 this year?
Hurricane Ian by far is number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, it's kind of split between the Buffalo Blizzard and the Boston Blizzard because both were pretty powerful. Because if you don't
remember the Boston Blizzard too. It actually impacted the eastern part of Maryland and Delaware pretty badly. Not where I live. It barely missed me, but
yeah,
they got hit pretty hard on the eastern shore, Ocean City, that region.
Yeah.
And I remember tracking that storm. Yeah. But really, that was a pretty big nor'easter, but really nothing compared to the storm over the holiday weekend.
Yeah. That's number 2. Number 3, it's hard for me to really gauge, honestly, because there were other storms. Like you saw my tier list video. You saw my tier list video. Yeah, basically the tier list, I had Hurricane Ian and a couple other things in A tier and all that. The number 3 for me, honestly, it would have to be Hurricane Fiona, quite frankly, because people are saying it's worse than Maria. So, yeah, I think it just made the cut.
Fiona was a very bad storm for Puerto Rico. I mean, Category 1, it knocked out their whole power grid, but honestly nowhere close to Maria. I think really a lot of it was they were already struggling from Maria, and it just knocked them down again.
Yeah. All right.
But very unfortunate situation. They ended up getting over 30 inches of rain in some parts of Puerto Rico with lots of flooding.
Yeah. All right. So I have a question in the chat. Tails is asking if I see this, can I make a Hurricane Michael documentary? I'm not entirely sure how I'm with my schedule right now. It's gonna have to depend. It is winter weather season, so I might make some documentaries on winter weather and everything like that. But Hurricane Michael, that's something I can definitely come across to. It's just I'm not sure when I will do it.
The good thing about Michael was it wasn't a very complicated storm. It only made one major landfall in Florida, and so there's really not a whole lot that you have to talk about other than that one landfall. So I think you could definitely do that one.
Yeah, I just don't know when. I just don't know when. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. So Ethan, were there any notable weather events that you personally saw?
I had some pretty good severe weather this summer where I live here in Maryland. I'm in the Hagerstown, Maryland area, for those who don't know. I have a YouTube channel.
Ethan, me, Ethan WX. Yeah, I forgot to put that in the stream description. I'm such a bad friend.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. But yeah, I had some pretty interesting weather. Most of it really in July and onward, because June and May just did not produce a whole lot of severe weather where I live. But yeah, I had some pretty intense storms over the summer, especially on July 12th and 23rd. Those were pretty good ones, both of which produced a lot of damage in my area, power outages. And yeah, I have videos of both of them on my channel.
Okay, Tails just gave me another question. Did Michael make landfall as a Cat 4 or Cat 5? It made landfall as a Cat 5, winds of 160.
Yeah, it was operationally assessed at 155, but then the NHC upgraded it in the postseason analysis to 160, making it a Cat 5.
Yeah, the big controversy I'm seeing with rating is Ian, because there's a lot of debate on if it was a Cat 4 or Cat 5. We've talked about this both publicly and privately, Ethan. You think it was a Cat 5 at some point before it made landfall, if I'm not mistaken.
My personal belief is that it peaked at 160. I would say around 10 to 11 a.m. on the 28th, somewhere before it started. I would say right as the outer eye wall, the weaker side of it started affecting Florida. That's when it was a Cat 5, and then it weakened to a high-end Cat 4 by the time the actual center crossed land. Because I saw some videos from Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, and then also further west where the strongest part of the eye wall initially first came on shore near Rotonda and Englewood, that definitely showed winds well in the Category 4 range.
Right.
So it was definitely a Cat 4, probably a high-end Cat 4 at landfall, and I would think it was a Cat 5 for a little while offshore, considering observations from the hurricane hunters and other things.
Yeah.
But we're going to find out sometime this spring, probably around April.
Yeah, we'll probably find out around April. As for me, it's hard for me to really say. I saw the drops in data. I saw the flight level winds. I saw the SFMRs. I saw some reports of people recording 159 mile per hour sustained winds. It's hard for me to really gauge. I agree with you that it was a Cat 5 at some point, which is pretty amazing if you think about it, because, like, first of all, it underwent an eye wall replacement cycle that I don't think neither of us could even figure out what was going on. We were like, the pressure's dropping. Why isn't this strengthening? Then we figured it out. Oh, like the satellite was able to hide it really well, which is pretty surprising if you ask me.
Yeah, really, the interesting thing with Hurricane Ian was most storms in the Gulf that are moving north, northeast, or east have the strongest winds on the northeast quadrant of the storm in the northeast eye wall. Ian was not like that. Ian had its strongest winds on the northwest and the west side.
It was kind of like
because it was interacting with a cold front that was basically compacted the pressure gradient on that side of the storm and made it more intense. So the strongest winds actually occurred between Englewood and Port Charlotte, not further south and east in Fort Myers and Cape Coral and those areas.
Yeah.
But it didn't really matter anyways, because the storm was already so powerful for so long that it brought a massive storm surge with it.
Yeah, Sanibel got absolutely destroyed from that.
Yeah, whether it was a Cat 5 or a high-end Cat 4, it didn't matter.
Exactly.
The storm surge impacts were catastrophic. And one of the things that made Ian way worse was honestly the eye wall replacement cycle that it went through between Cuba and the Keys. That made the storm's wind field grow significantly larger. And unlike a lot of hurricanes, it only temporarily disrupted the storm's intensification. It ended up wrapping back up and quickly going from a Cat 3 to a borderline Cat 5.
Yeah, it looked like that.
A much larger wind field.
Yeah, it looks like
honestly, Ian's landfall and winds could not have been any worse. It was the worst case scenario you could have possibly gotten for Florida, for that region.
Yeah, Tails asks another question. Do you know how high the gusts were with Hurricane Michael? I know we're switching back and forth and everything like that. Like, how high were the gusts? I'd have to say they'd have to be at least 190 at this point.
I know at Tyndall Air Force Base, where it made landfall, they estimated 172 miles per hour.
As a gust?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in the NHC report. Because the gauge there measured 129, but it ended up failing before the strongest part of the eye wall hit. So, but yeah, based on the damage to like the aircraft there and some of the hangars, they estimated it took wind gusts at least 172 miles per hour to do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. 170 to 180 was probably the highest gusts we saw in that eye wall with mesovortices and everything.
Yeah, I'll split the difference with 185 in my opinion. I'll split the difference.
Yeah, probably like sustained 160 gusts to 180, 185.
Yeah, I'll split the difference. It wasn't like I mean, kind of funny. I said 185 because that was how strong Dorian was.
That was Dorian sustained winds. The gusts
that
were
was
well over 200.
Well, gusts were over 220.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. So basically, now that we're done with that, one interesting thing that I put in my tier list was the Andover tornado, Ethan. And
the Andover tornado.
Reed
Very
Timmer
cool
got
storm.
absolutely amazing footage. So much so that Drama Alert, who is not even in the weather community, put it on and promoted Reed Timmer's video.
Yeah, the Andover tornado was an absolutely beautiful storm. That was one of the coolest tornadoes I've ever seen, if I'm being honest. It's really crazy how much footage there was from different angles. And there's compilations of that tornado and videos from storm chasers on YouTube that are currently sitting at millions of views.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious now to see how many views that those have gotten.
Yeah, go ahead and take a look.
Andover, Kansas tornado 2022. Yeah. There's one video with 5.3 million.
Not surprising.
There's another with 3.9 million, another with 1.8 million.
Not surprising.
And there's another one from Reed Timmer with 13 million views.
Jesus. Dang.
Yeah, just an incredible tornado. I would suggest watching some videos on that if you want to see something.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you want to see high quality new tornado footage, go look up some of the videos from that one.
Yeah. Another one, there was a tornado in May in Texas and everything like that just sat there for like several minutes. It just sat there and did nothing. And storm chasers were able to pull up, and they were able to even like film it, record it, and everything like that. I reacted to it here on the channel, and I said this will go on Weather Gone Viral. Yeah, are you familiar with that one?
Yeah, I've heard of that before.
Yeah, that was in rural Texas too. That was absolutely crazy.
Was that in early May, the outbreak that occurred down there on like May 3rd?
I think that was one of them, yeah, but the tornado happened in late May.
Late May? Okay.
Yeah. We had a derecho. We're seeing more derechos happen more frequently that I've noticed. Like, we had several derechos this year. We had a derecho in December of last year. Like, we're looking at...
the historic December 15th derecho. Yeah. Honestly, last year, 2021, was really an incredible weather year, if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
2021 was crazy.
Yeah, we had the Texas snowstorm in February. We had Hurricane Ida. We had the December 10th outbreak. We had the March 25th outbreak. We also
had the December 15th derecho and tornado outbreak.
Yep, I was about to say that. Overall, it was an insane weather
2021 had some incredible events.
Yeah.
And also, let's also not forget about the heat wave in the Pacific Northwest that killed 1,500 people in June of 2021. That event, everyone forgets about that, but that was insane. Portland, Oregon, which, as a lot of you know, probably isn't really that hot, got up to 116 degrees, and their average high is about 75 for that time of the year.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed.
2021 was absolutely nuts.
Yeah. For those of you who are just joining us, we're just going over the weather events that happened in 2022. It's New Year's Eve. It's never been a more appropriate time to do that. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So the next question I'm thinking about is that we're going into 2023 right now, and winter is nowhere close from being over. Considering what we've seen now, what do you think we could see in the first couple of months of 2023, in your opinion?
It's really hard to say. Well, I know for the next week or so, we're actually going to be seeing a pattern that's very opposite of what we had over Christmas in the eastern U.S. It's going to be much warmer than average. Here yesterday... Was it yesterday? Yeah, I think so. Yesterday here it was 65 degrees in Hagerstown, Maryland, which broke the daily record. And that's funny because a week before that, on Christmas Eve, it was 2 degrees in the morning of Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it was absolutely cold across the Midwest.
So we're going to see a huge flip we're seeing a major flip across the whole eastern half of the U.S. with temperatures way above average now.
Do you think?
And many places in the south are going to be in the 70s and 80s the next few days.
Yeah. Do you think we could see another massive Arctic blast like we saw this time? I mean, it's completely possible since it is
I don't
January.
see anything like that on the models right now, but
Okay.
it definitely could happen again later this winter. It could happen in January with the polar vortex.
Yeah.
But we don't really know if we're going to see anything like that at this point.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this next storm system, it'll get colder behind it, but it doesn't look like it's going to get super cold anywhere.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any particular weather event in 2022 that, other than Hurricane Ian, of course, that you think like? Is there any particular event that you think is underrated or overrated in 2022?
Overrated.
Or underrated?
I don't know. In terms of underrated events, I think Hurricane Fiona was really historic, and I think that was one that, like, from a meteorological perspective, being the strongest storm of any kind to ever impact Canada, I feel like that was not talked about enough.
Yeah, that it was a lot of the damage happened in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, so I can understand.
Yeah, I get that it was bad in those places, and in those places it was talked about, but in the U.S., I feel like people didn't really care about that storm, even though it was really something historic.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. So basically, that's what I've noticed. I mean, I don't really know any overrated systems. I do think Ian was a little. I mean, it was. I don't think it was underrated at all. Honestly, I just think the rating was a little bit underrated. But
I don't know. I think Ian got the media hype and everything that it deserved.
No, I'm talking like strength wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
we'll just have to see what they say.
Yeah, I think the media hype was completely justified as was coming ashore.
And this time it actually came true.
Yeah.
Like, this was legitimately a catastrophic hurricane that devastated a highly populated part of Florida.
Yeah, and just the big problem...
Because I think...
Go ahead.
A lot of because the media tends to hype up all these storms. Like, they did it with Irma.
Yep.
They've done it with a lot of the other hurricanes. And a lot of people didn't trust them. They thought this one would be just like all those. And then this one actually did end up being devastating, and it killed over 150 people. So
yeah, I feel like my problem with it isn't the before or anything like that, because they did a great job telling people about this. I feel like we had two problems here with Ian. The first problem was a more meteorological problem, which is when all the models that 2 days before had it hitting the Tampa area. And then all of a sudden it shifted back to Fort Myers, back to Sarasota, those areas. That's the first problem. And the local officials acted accordingly for what I've looked at. And the second problem I have with Ian is that just it got so politicized.
Yep. Oh yeah, everyone. So many people saying it was a hoax, or that it was geoengineered, or that it was because of climate change alone, not
you can't
the fact
attribute one storm to climate change. I'm sorry. It doesn't work like that.
That really sucks that people have to turn it into something political rather than helping those who were affected by it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem I had with it. So that's where we're at. I just feel like when I was looking at the politicization of the Buffalo Blizzard and everything like that, and everything like that, I was kind of laughing at some of the stuff because of how ridiculous it was.
But it's a shame people really do believe that stuff.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, just here's a New Year's resolution you guys should get in 2023. Don't politicize weather. That's a New Year's resolution I want you guys to have. Don't politicize weather. It's an extreme weather event like Hurricane Ian is tragic, and we should leave it at that. And we should leave it to the proper officials to take care of it. That's my 2 cents on it.
I agree. Obviously politics is going to come into it because
they have to get the funding for it.
They have to deal with the response and preparing for these kinds of things. But I really hate it when people try to take a storm like this and then use it to push an agenda or make a point.
I mean, it's ridiculous. But yeah,
I agree that climate change is real, but
me too.
Every time a storm like this happens, you can't say that storm alone was caused by climate change.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, I'm going to stop before I get too heated about this topic. So, my next question for Ethan is that do you have any New Year's resolutions? We're switching it up a little bit.
I don't know, honestly. My goal is to see another tornado this year. That's one of them.
Yeah.
I've got 2 in 2021, and then I didn't get any in 2022. Yeah. I'm a bit disappointed about that.
I think everyone's disappointed about that. But as for me...
And I'm also, another one of my goals is to chase a tropical system.
Yeah.
An actual hurricane.
Yeah, just be careful with that stuff. Just be careful.
Because I chased Isaias back in 2020, but
that wasn't
that was a while ago.
Yeah,
that was a strong tropical storm.
Yeah,
not a hurricane.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the Jim Cantori video right now. Actually, of Isaias. That was absolutely absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Sorry.
Yeah, Isaias was an insane storm. A lot of tornadoes, very destructive tropical storm. I think a lot of people in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic really didn't expect it to pack the punch that it did.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling it up right now. I'm gonna just give me 1 second. I'm gonna first send it here. First do this. Okay, can you see that? All right.
Hold on.
All right.
There we go.
All right. Let me check the stream real quickly. All right. Okay, we're good to go. All right. So we're gonna kind of react to this a little bit since you did mention Isaias. Like, I want you to give your honest opinion when it comes to like this. All right.
Yep.
All right. You ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
5 miles away, moving at 15 to 20 miles per hour. It's
not too bad yet.
And we'll see how our weather.
Yeah. Just looks like strong winds.
Yeah.
Now we're picking up.
Oh, they're picking up. Oh, you can tell Cantori's uncomfortable.
Yep.
Oh, this is when it gets really bad.
And the crazy thing is, this was only a Category 1.
Yeah, this was a 90-mile-per-hour storm.
To me and had it coming across me.
Ooh. Oh,
Yeah, I bet that is not fun to stand up in.
Oh, absolutely not. He has to take a knee. He has to take a knee. Quite frankly, I would do the same.
I mean, have you seen the video of what happened to him during Ian? He almost got hit by lightning and then taken out by a tree branch.
Yeah, I saw that. He's lucky to be alive.
Give me a landfall while I'm out here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Dr. Nab right there. Okay, I'm pausing this. Ethan, do you know who Dr. Rick Nab is?
Yeah, on the Weather Channel. I used to watch them a lot.
Yeah, he was the director of the NHC a while ago. He was the director when Hurricane Matthew hit.
Yep.
And Sandy, too. He was actually the first NHC director to brief the president of a hurricane bringing blizzard conditions, which is pretty crazy.
I remember a good old Sandy.
Yeah, you were in that.
Fun storm. I got affected by it.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't as bad as it was in New Jersey, but still.
I lost power for over a full day because of it.
Yeah. All right. You ready for me to play this?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
And the power outages continue to mount. With ECES, as we are taking this northern and eastern eye wall. Pretty tough here, right?
Crazy thing about Jim Cantori was that he was in the northern eye wall, the northeast eye wall, the east eye wall, the southeast eye wall, in the south eye wall. That's pretty crazy. He was in that eye wall for over an hour. And I would normally, this is where I would joke along and say he was in the southwest eye wall and then the west eye wall, but I'm not doing that. But that's still pretty crazy right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be hard to stand in that for sure.
especially.
And I mean, I stood in a high-end tropical storm, and that rain pelting down on you, it hurts, as well as the sandblasting that occurs if you're near a beach.
Yeah,
that part's not.
Yeah, during Hurricane Laura, did you see the video of Stephanie Abrams having to run because glass was literally coming towards her from that hotel?
I don't remember that video, but
yeah, that was absolutely
I've seen some pretty crazy. Have you ever seen the documentary by Storm Chasing Video on Hurricane Michael?
I'm not entirely sure. I haven't seen it.
You got to watch that. The guy who runs that channel, Doug Kiesling, literally drove through the storm surge in Mexico Beach in a Category 5 as it was coming up and barely made it out. It's probably one of the craziest hurricane videos you'll ever see.
Yeah. All right. You ready for me to play?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Keep it going.
And this was during COVID too, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, and he has to take another knee. Damn. Oh, this is I remember staying up till like, I think it was like 12 o'clock my time watching this. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, the next day I went out over to New Jersey and chased it as it came up the coast.
Did you have to?
I would have gone to
Go ahead.
I would have gone to Ocean City, Maryland, but unfortunately I would have had to get up really early if I wanted to get down there.
It's traffic. Traffic. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
The winds down there did reach hurricane force.
All right. But yeah, yeah. Like did you like how bad did you have to take a knee like Mr. Cantori did?
No, it wasn't that bad. But when I was on the beach, well, I was on like a boardwalk and I was getting sandblasted.
Yeah.
And it was pretty rough.
Yeah. All right. For those of you who are here, be sure to like the stream, subscribe to the channel. It would be much appreciated. Because we're gonna be here for a little while longer. So, yeah, Ethan, that was a crazy thing to frickin' watch. Honestly, seeing that live, actually, I grabbed my phone and I recorded the screen of my TV, which is kind of funny thinking about that. But that's how I recorded stuff I thought was interesting back in the day, before I started this channel. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't start my YouTube channel until earlier this year.
Yeah.
And a lot of the videos on here are old thunderstorm videos.
Yeah.
But I have some pretty good ones, especially from 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, like it's even 2022. You have good content from that. Let me go ahead.
Yeah, especially July 12th and July 12th, July 23rd, and a couple other severe weather events.
Yeah, you've been doing quite well on YouTube, man. You deserve all the success. You deserve all that success.
To 155 subscribers.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Only 845 more till I can make money.
Yeah.
We got a little while to go.
You still have a little while to go, dog. Don't worry. You'll feel amazing once you hit that milestone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some good content, good storm chasing content this year to help bring me up there.
Yeah. Do you remember when Bonnie happened earlier this year?
Wasn't that the one that like just disappeared off the South Carolina coast?
No.
Or am I thinking of?
That was Colin.
No, that was
Colin.
Yeah, that was Colin. Okay.
Bonnie was the one that was a potential tropical cyclone that hit the Trinidad, Tobago, ABC Islands, Nicaragua, became a hurricane in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, that was the one you got tons of views from, right?
Yeah.
You got like 25,000.
Yeah, I got that was it was really fun to cover, honestly. It was really fun to cover. At the same time, though, even if it's only a potential tropical cyclone, people still need to take it seriously because there was a lot of flooding that happened in TNT.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a hurricane to be dangerous. So, yeah, that's
absolutely. Yeah, Isaias was technically not a hurricane when it came through New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, but it was still very destructive.
Yeah, it caused quite a bit of damage. So did Hurricane Ida when it went through. As a tropical storm.
Oh, Ida produced 4.5 inches of rain where I live, and then east of here where I used to live, between Baltimore and Annapolis, there was a tornado, a high-end EF2, that destroyed quite a bit of homes and businesses over there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was...
Ida was one of the most insane storms I've ever tracked, between being a Category 4, high-end Category 4 that devastated Louisiana, and then moving up to Maryland and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, New York, Connecticut, and all the flooding that resulted from that. Just insane. Just absolutely devastating storm.
Yeah, that's pretty... that was a very ridiculous storm. I was up pretty late watching Force 13's coverage on that. Like the pressure drop of 7 millibars in an hour is absolutely jaw-dropping, if you ask me. So...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ida was really a devastating storm, and...
Yeah, like, I look at... Go ahead.
Like, it's just insane to think, the storm devastated Louisiana, and then when everyone thought it was done, it came up and caused catastrophic damage across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, too.
Absolutely.
And one of the tornadoes that formed from Ida in Mullica Hill, New Jersey, that was insane. That looked like a genuinely violent tornado, the one in the high-end EF3, just east of Philly.
Yeah, what's that rated? What was that rated? That was rated. Did you just tell me high-end?
Yeah, rated high-end EF3, but a lot of people said think it might have been an EF4.
What's your opinion on that? Did you?
I would say high-end EF.
All right.
I saw some pictures. I would still say high-end EF3, considering most of the homes up there aren't built to withstand tornadoes, but still a very destructive storm. Yeah. Just insane.
Yeah, what do you think Mayfield was? I thought it was EF5. It had to have been EF5 at some point. Yeah, it was registered in EF4.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I think Mayfield was 100% in EF5.
Yeah, I thought some buildings were slabbed, and you told me the vorticity was at 284 or something like that.
Yeah, it was well over what many previous EF5s have produced. So I personally believe 100% that it was an EF5, but NWS somehow only rated it 190 EF4, but it is what it is.
Well, yeah, there's this conspiracy theory that the insurance companies told the NWS to rate it that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that actually came up during Hurricane Michael too. They thought they were purposefully not going to rate it Category 5.
I thought it was too close to call. Because
honestly, then they would have had to pay out a hurricane deductible. But it turned out that obviously Michael was a Category 5 in the end. And they didn't ignore any of it. They didn't ignore that evidence, and they went with Cat 5.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
That was honest. I honestly would not be surprised if they didn't upgrade Ian. I think it was a Cat 5 offshore, but I won't be too surprised if they don't upgrade it. And I still believe it was a Category 4 when it made landfall in Florida, but it didn't really change much anyway. So
yeah, quite frankly, when I think the NHC did what they could. It was just too close to call at that point. It was just too close to call.
And honestly, no one expected it to be that strong. They thought maybe it would reach 130 Cat 4 when it made landfall in between Port Charlotte and Fort Myers. But obviously, that's not what happened. We ended up getting 150 instead.
Yeah, that's
one thing that I think the NHC especially should really be concerned about is the fact that these hurricanes, especially the ones in the last few years, have been intensifying way quicker than the models anticipated. Like, if you think about it, just about every single storm ended up being way stronger than the models predicted it to be originally. Like Harvey, Irma, Michael, Ian, Ida, almost all of them were significantly stronger than the predictions, and the tracks were forecasted very well for all those storms.
Yep.
But like Ian, they predicted Ian's landfall point like 6 days out.
Yeah.
And even though it shifted north to Tampa, then back down toward Fort Myers, they still were very close, very spot on 6 days out, but they could have never imagined a borderline Category 5.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could have expected that.
When I woke up that morning and saw it had gone from 120 to 155 overnight, I was just in shock, honestly. Like, I was like, I couldn't believe my eyes for a second. I thought I was in a dream, and I'm like, nope. It really is 155. It pulled a Michael overnight.
Yeah, Yeah, hold on a second. I'm trying to pull up something real quickly. Okay. Never. We're going. All right. But yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous right there. It was just holy hell. Let's see. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the screen right. Pull up the screen right here. Yeah, this is what I'm showing. This is the tweet I put out that morning, Ethan. If you, Ethan, let me show you on Discord real quickly.
I can probably pull it up on your stream. Hold on. Oh wait.
Yeah, you see that?
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, this is what I posted on Twitter when I woke up in the morning. Yeah, that
was my thoughts exactly when I saw that.
Yeah, what the hell happened last night? That's what I thought.
Yeah, because then I went and looked at like radar satellite, and it was way more organized than it had been. And the eye wall had, because I thought maybe that the eye wall replacement cycle the night before would mess it up, and it wouldn't be able to regain its strength, but it did.
That ERC did absolutely nothing to it, Ethan.
It ended up just reorganizing. A lot of the times it does. They don't reorganize that quickly. That one did.
Yeah, the same thing happened with Katrina back in 2005, where it underwent an ERC, but instead of cutting it down, it ended up pushing it up. And we all know what happened next. It explosively intensified, and then another ERC happened, which brought the winds down, but it also expanded the size too, even more. And then...
And the surge was massive when it hit Mississippi.
28 feet of storm surge.
Yeah, with Ian, I know obviously it was over 15 feet in Fort Myers Beach and a lot of other places. And I saw some unconfirmed reports from Captiva Island saying that the surge was about 16 feet high. I mean, not 16, 19 feet.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy, man.
And I used to go to Sanibel a lot when I was a kid, and
you're not going there anytime soon.
It was it was a very beautiful place back then, and now it's just devastated. So it's really sad to see how much destruction there was, and those places are never going to be the same.
Yeah, it's tragic how this is going on. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is basically something I've been kind of interested in for a bit. Ethan, I talked to you about it a little bit ago before we got on the stream. Ethan, I'm not in the commentary community, right? I'm not a commentary.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm a weather YouTuber. I'm not a commentary YouTuber. I keep tabs in it though. I think I like seeing the drama that's going on there. But there's this one guy that just takes it too far. Ethan, you know who I'm talking about, do you?
Yep, I do. I know whose name you're about to mention.
Yep. The person I'm mentioning is Brasso. And
you've told me about this guy a lot.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get too into this because I know this is a nice, happy, fun live stream and everything like that. I'm just gonna give a brief overview. It'll take like 5, maybe even 7 minutes to talk about this. But yeah, basically, for those of you who do not know, this guy. I'm gonna make it quick. He started his channel in February of 2020. Funny enough, that was right before COVID, and what he's a known clickbaiter, and I know I do my fair share of clickbait on the channel, but I keep it within the realm of reality. Would Ethan, you would agree with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you never bring up anything unrealistic when it comes to weather or that kind of thing. It's like there are some weather YouTubers who do ridiculous titles like extreme tornado outbreak possible. Yeah. Yours are always within the realm of reality, even though they are meant to get people to click on them.
Yeah, T-Volt's been making fun of me about it, so...
Yeah, but you are really nowhere near as clickbaity as a lot of these YouTubers are. Even Ryan Hall Y'all, who's one of the bigger ones, is not great about it.
I mean, to be fair, though, he has good content, at least.
His content's good, but he really built a lot of his platform on clickbait.
I mean, he still retained his viewership, and he still provides decent content, so...
Yeah.
No harm, no foul. But anyway, what Ryan Hall Y'all did was, he built an audience based off of that, and he kind of transformed it as time went on a little bit, and he kind of calmed down a little bit. This guy has not slowed down. Brasso hasn't, and he's gotten even worse over the years. So, first, you know Technoblade, don't you, Ethan?
Yeah, famous Minecraft YouTuber who unfortunately passed away from cancer back in when? When was that? Like October or September?
No, that was in June.
That was back in the summer.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Techno. Basically what happened here was that this guy, Brasso, when Techno got diagnosed with cancer, he started milking like 30 or 40 videos talking about it, and with some titles insinuate as with Technoblade faked it, kind of insinuating he was faking the whole thing. And basically, someone finally called him out. Tiredcast first called him out. Then Jalen called him out. Brasso gave a response that was very disingenuous. And then he got into more controversy when Techno tragically passed away. And he milked a bunch of videos. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to donate all this money to charity. I have a video talking about this already." He faked the donation. That's what I'm going to say right there. He faked the charity donation. So
yeah, I remember seeing your video on that. It's a shame that people needed to do that for clout, honestly. Like, what kind of person do you have to be to take advantage of a person's death from cancer to get more views and likes? Like, that's just...
Yeah.
Like, I can understand, wanting to get views and clickbaiting a little, but that's what
YouTube is.
That's where it gets to the point where it's just disgusting, honestly. No other way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. So everyone thought Brasso's channel died, except if we look at his channel now, and I have his Social Blade pulled up. I'm gonna first show it to you on Discord real quickly. This is what we have right here. This is you can see this, right?
Yep, I can see it.
I'm gonna refresh this real quickly. But yeah, this is what we have right here. And I'm going to show it for the audience to see. First of all, did you see what I just highlighted, Ethan?
11,630,311. I'm guessing that's views.
Yep. And this is what it was last month. That 600,000.
Yeah. So yeah, he's definitely been gaining a lot of views.
He's gaining a lot of views, but how is he gaining these views? Well, this is his channel right here. This is Andrew. It's all Andrew Tate, basically. It's all Andrew Tate.
Actually, go look at his about.
Oh, his about. Okay.
Yeah, click on his about, and now it says
daily
Andrew Tate videos.
Oh, and this kid's 15, by the way. He put it on his about before he got rid of it. So, yeah, I'm not.
It also says he's from Latvia.
He's from
Is that
Latvia.
even true?
Yep, he's from Latvia. His Social Blade says so as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, that's what we're looking at right there. Yeah, I'm not getting too into this because it's a nice, happy, fun thing. But the last thing we'll say about Brasso is that I hope his channel dies. I quite frankly...
Well, yeah, he's milking the whole Andrew Tate thing.
Not only that, but he's committing copyright infringement.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah. So I hope there's some copyright strikes or something like that, because he posted the full interview with Piers Morgan and everything like that. I'm not sure if he got permission for that or not. If he did, whoop-de-doo, it's up to him to use that. If not, Piers Morgan needs to get copyright claimed. But yeah, that's where we're at right there with that. So that's the last I'm going to talk about Brasso. I wanted to make this very quickly and everything because I didn't want to get too into this. It's a nice, happy, fun live stream, and I didn't want to get too much into that. And like I said, I'm not even a commentary YouTuber, so it's not really technically none of my business, but hey, I keep tabs with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next thing I want to talk about is, I don't think we've announced to our audience yet, but we're potentially starting some sort of podcast or talk show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to explain that?
No, we haven't told anyone about that yet.
You want to explain what that is? I want to give our audience a little taste about it.
So yeah, basically me, Patrick, and a few other people, including this one guy, T-Volt WX. I'll shout him out too on the stream.
Yeah, I'll put
another guy who we do videos with, and we talk to a lot. And he does a lot of videos similar to mine, just videos of severe weather and things in his area. He's from down in Naples, Florida, that general region. So he's got a video on Hurricane Ian that got like 1,000 views. And yeah, he's another one of our friends who we're planning on doing
it's up there. Go subscribe
podcast
to him.
type show. And we're planning on doing a podcast or a talk show type thing with him and whoever else we can invite on a new channel called Storms United.
Yep.
So if you could go drop that in the...
Yeah, I got you right now.
Yeah.
The Storms United. There it is right there. Control C. Oh.
Yeah, this is basically our channel where we upload, any severe weather, any interesting videos that we're able to get.
Yep.
Right now we don't have that many views on it. We have.
There we go. Go sub to Storms United. Links in the description.
We got 108 views so far
on Storms United.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half of 44 of them were from my video.
Yeah, the
other day.
Yeah, the winter storm.
Yep.
So yeah, we're starting a podcast soon. We're not entirely sure when the first episode's going out, but we do have a general idea on what we're going to be talking about with the first one. Excuse me, twice, guys. But yeah, so yeah, what are we going to be discussing? I thought what are we going to be discussing, Ethan? I'm letting you take this one.
For the first episode, we're probably going to be going more in depth about the 2022 hurricane season.
Yeah. It was one of the weirdest seasons I have ever seen by the
And then we might also go into some other, chances are we'll probably end up talking about other tropical cyclones and
and we're going to have
hurricanes that have happened, because it's true to say, the last 5 years in the U.S. has probably been some of the worst, probably the worst period of hurricanes we've ever seen, the worst 5 years of tropical cyclones and hurricanes we've ever seen in the U.S. So I think that the last 5 years has topped the 5 years up to 2005, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
So that's probably
topics. Go ahead.
That's what I'm thinking about. Not just talking about 2022.
Of course not.
Maybe talking also about the other seasons in recent years that have been devastating, like 2017, 18, 19, 20, and 21.
Of course.
Because those were all seasons that brought devastating storms to the U.S. and we should highlight all of them.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. 2017 was especially bad. Same with 2020.
And then 2020 was the most active hurricane season ever.
All right, do you think Iota was a Cat 4 or Cat 5?
Iota?
Yeah.
Man, I kind of think
it was operationally a Cat 5, but they downgraded it.
Yeah, I don't really get why they downgraded it, if I'm being honest.
The pressure was 917, too.
Yeah, 917, you really just don't see it that low with a Cat 4. There was only one other Cat 4 in history that's had it that low.
Yeah, for those of you who are just joining the stream, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. It would be much appreciated. Go ahead and continue, Ethan.
But yeah, I'm surprised what they did with Iota. I really thought they would keep it at a Cat 5.
I wish. Happy New Hurricane Year, guys. Look at the chat, Ethan. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. Okay, and if you guys have any questions for us, feel free to type it in the chat. We'll be here for a little while longer to answer the questions, so feel free to type them in.
Yep.
Yeah, we'd be happy to take them. If you have questions for Ethan, let us know. So, yeah, with that being said, please, I'm sorry for interrupting you, Ethan. I'm being a bad friend, so please continue.
No, you're good. You're good. You're totally good. Hold on, T-Fold said is online. Maybe we can get him to join.
I don't know about it. I'm not sure. He said let's see if he wants to join. His mic might be a bit quiet if you guys want to yeah. Anyway, we got a question. Do you think there will be a stronger hurricane in 2023 than Ian? I'll answer that one. It's too early to tell right now. We don't know what the patterns are going to be like, so we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, we really have no idea.
Let's see if we can get T-Fold in.
I mean, there's a chance we could see a storm that's stronger, Cat 5, but who knows if it'll hit the U.S.
Go ahead.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be a Cat 5 that stays over the open ocean.
Lorenzo was a good example.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we can get T-Fold
I don't know.
It's
going to, in terms of U.S. landfalls, it's going to be really hard to see something next year that tops Hurricane Ian. But for a while we didn't think we would see anything this year, and look what happened. So
yeah,
it's really hard to say. So sometimes the least active seasons can bring the biggest surprises, like 1992 with Andrew.
Yeah, that 92 was absolutely. It was the quietest season in a long time.
If it hadn't been for Andrew, 92 would have been a very uninteresting hurricane season.
It would have been a bust.
But Andrew happened, and that was obviously a devastating historic storm.
Absolutely. Yeah, one thing I want to know is that Andrew, first of all, Miami's proper was very lucky it didn't get hit by.
Oh, it was incredibly lucky.
Miami
Beach missed the eye wall by 5 miles, and that meant the difference between very minimal damage and
catastrophic
literal obliteration.
Yeah.
The southern suburbs like Kendall, Cutler Bay, Coral Gables,
Coconut
Homestead,
Grove.
Florida City.
Coconut Grove.
All those places that was back before they had hurricane building codes down there. So those places just got absolutely torn apart, leveled. A lot of mobile home parks that were just completely destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Homestead especially, Ethan, did you ever hear the 1926 Miami hurricane?
I have. They actually said that if that happened today, if a repeat of that storm happened today, it would be the costliest U.S. hurricane adjusted for inflation. It would probably top Katrina.
I agree with you 100%. So, could you, if you don't know this, that's fine. But I'm gonna hopefully throw the mic off to you. Do you know why so many people got, tragically perished in this thing?
Well, unfortunately, back in the 1920s, hurricanes weren't as well understood as they are now. And after the worst of the eye wall subsided, many people went outside thinking that it was over, but it turned out they were just in the eye, because the eye passed directly over Miami Beach, and that was before there was weather radar, satellite, and all that. So people mistakenly assumed that it was over, only to get hit by the eye wall on the backside, and that's when the storm surge came in, and it killed a lot of people who got trapped on the beach.
Yeah, that was...
Back then, it killed around 300 people were killed by that storm. I don't know what would happen. Honestly, if a storm like that happened today,
it would cause another recession, honestly.
It'd be very hard to evacuate Miami now, considering how big the metro area has grown.
We almost saw that with Dorian, too.
It's 6 million people now in the Miami metro area.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly populated, and it would be a very difficult situation if a big hurricane came through there.
Yeah, I would think so as well.
Hopefully we don't see that for a long time, but now's the time to prepare for it, because it's going to happen one day.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Okeechobee hurricane at all?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was another really bad one.
Yeah.
In the 1920s.
Yeah, 26 destroyed Miami, but the 28 Okeechobee hurricane destroyed Fort Lauderdale. It also caused a lot of flooding.
And then people didn't think that there would be surge on Lake Okeechobee, so people did not prepare for it at all back then, and that's how it killed 4,000 people.
Yeah, and they actually reduced the total because a lot of the people who were killed were actually African American as well. And Florida had segregationist laws at the time.
So they just didn't even count them?
Nope. That was something I found out from Top 10 Worst Hurricanes from the Weather Channel. So shout out to them for that. Okeechobee was pretty bad. The 26 Miami hurricane, though, that's Florida was the first state to enter the Great Depression, and that was because of that hurricane right there. The rest of the country followed 3 years later.
It definitely contributed. They were still rebuilding Miami after that for a couple of years, so
yeah, absolutely.
That's not surprising.
Yeah.
But I can't even imagine what would happen if a storm as powerful as Dorian made a direct hit on Miami, Fort Lauderdale, or anywhere in that big metro area.
Yeah.
Just imagine the level of destruction that would happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I wouldn't say ridiculous. It's absolutely scary to see that.
Yeah, it's scary to think that kind of storm almost happened and might happen sometime in the next few years.
Yeah, it's
hopefully we don't see it, but you got to be prepared for it. That's the thing. And you know, with rising sea temperatures these days and hurricanes intensifying a lot faster than they did in the past, it's another thing to be mindful of. Because,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
even if they say it'll be a Cat 4, you know, Dorian turned into a high-end Cat 5 in less than a day. So,
yep. And we all, like, the original track had this thing hitting Fort Lauderdale, and it's eventually.
imagine if it didn't stop at the Bahamas. Imagine if it just kept going to
If
Florida.
it kept going, it would have strengthened even more and then destroyed Florida. I'm sorry, but that's the cold truth right there.
Yep.
Yeah, there's basically some debate on whether how strong Dorian would have gotten. I've talked to a couple of sources. What's your opinion? How strong do you think Dorian would?
Honestly, my honest opinion is that it probably would have maxed out at 185 or 190, but because I don't think the water was going to be warm enough to get it to 200. But either way,
it's not the
if it maxed out at.
Go ahead.
Either way, even though it maxed out at 180, it would have been an absolutely apocalyptic storm.
I think
so.
I think the problem people focus on is ocean temperature. We shouldn't be focusing so much on ocean temperature, more so than or more so instead we should be focusing on ocean heat content. That's what we should be paying attention
important.
to.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was lots of ocean heat content that was going on with Dorian, and I think it could have strengthened potentially to 195. That's my opinion right there.
I think it would have leveled out at 185, 190.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we're literally, we're gonna leave it at that before we get into a 30-minute debate on literally 5 to 10 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's gonna go.
Yeah. So
let's just say we're glad that didn't happen, and that it ended up not turning away from the U.S. and not hitting Florida.
It made things even worse in the Bahamas, though.
So, unfortunately, the Bahamas the northern Bahamas got destroyed.
Same thing with Irma in 2017. Had it not made landfall in Cuba, it would have likely hit Tampa Bay, potentially as a Category 4 or even Cat 5, because it was a Cat 5 when it made landfall in Cuba. I mean, the wind shear might have torn apart.
The Cuba landfall destroyed the southern half of the storm. So
yeah,
really, Irma ended up being the best it could have been for the track it took, and how big it was and how strong it was. But
it only caused the damage to happen in Cuba more. If it hadn't have taken that westward jog, if it hadn't have taken that nudge to the west, we would have had a much different scenario. And quite frankly, T-Volt's house would have been absolutely destroyed. Think about it. So
unfortunately, though, Florida's luck ran out with Ian.
Yeah,
Ian was literally the worst possible timing. Like, there's no way it could have been any worse.
Oh, absolutely. Same with Michael, except it hit more of a rural area.
Yeah, fortunately, Michael missed really any big cities, but still. You know, it's crazy to think the night before they were forecasting like a Cat 3, and we ended up with a Cat 5.
Well, we'll have to wait for what the NHC says about that anyway.
Really, that's the main takeaway, I think, from looking at the last few years of hurricanes in the U.S. is don't trust the intensity guidance anymore. They're intensifying a lot quicker than the models are predicting in many cases, so I think when people prepare for hurricanes going forward, they need to prepare for at least one category stronger than what's forecast.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, with that being said, Ethan, is there anything else you want to talk about tonight? If there's anything you want to talk about.
I'm trying to think if there's anything from this year particularly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, we can talk a little. I actually want to switch it up a little bit. As a matter of fact, for how would you rate 2022 overall? Like, personally.
Overall, I mean, pretty insane year. Not as many extreme weather events as 2021, but we certainly saw our fair share this year.
Yeah, same here. I
personally think 2021 was the most epic year.
Yeah,
in terms of weather, but 2022 was definitely not a disappointment by any means.
No, it absolutely wasn't. For you personally, Ethan, how would you rate 2022? Like for you personally,
it was pretty solid.
Pretty solid.
Still not quite as good as 2021, but still a very good year. 2021 was really was epic.
All right.
If I'm being honest.
All right. I have another question right here. Do you have any good documentaries to recommend about tornadoes and hurricanes? Ethan, I'm going to give you the floor with this one because we both know what my answer would be.
Now, I think that I actually liked what the one guy commented about Michael. I think that would be a good one to make a documentary on because...
he's asking if we have any good documentaries to recommend.
I'm trying to think. Well, obviously later down the road, Ian, but...
No, he's saying, do we have any good documentaries we could recommend about tornadoes or hurricanes? Like documentaries that are already out there.
Oh, yeah, I would recommend your Wilma one and Irma. Those were my two favorites.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have told me, actually. The catastrophe imminent for Hurricane Irma. The
Irma one was really good. I think that was the best one. And then the Wilma one is very popular.
Yeah, it was a good one, too. I have a new setup now, so I can definitely make some higher quality content with that stuff. So, yeah, as for me in 2022, I will say 2022... It was for me. It was a little mixed. It was decent enough for me overall. I would say the best months for me for 2022 were between March and June, and and it's not weather-wise me personally. So that's my opinion and everything like that. So yeah, it was a decent enough year. It could have gone better, but it wasn't the worst or anything like that by far. So
no. You grew a lot on YouTube this year.
Yeah, we started the year at around 460 subs. Now we're up to 1773 last time I checked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully we double that this year.
Yeah,
at least.
I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves. The goal of this channel is to get more people engaged with weather, Ethan. But
that's true.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how high we go this year. But like always, the goal of the channel is to get more people engaged with weather. But it would be appreciative if you subscribe to the channel, guys.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely see some interesting events this year, like every other year. But
yeah.
I haven't checked the latest hurricane season forecasts, so I don't know what they're saying.
Okay.
But
yeah, I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't look until March, quite frankly.
But honestly, I am sort of hopeful, not personally. I love tracking hurricanes and extreme weather events, but honestly, I kind of hope that this year doesn't do much for the U.S. because we need a break.
Yeah.
The Southeast needs a break this year.
Oh, absolutely.
We thought this year was going to be a respite from all the hurricanes, and it wasn't.
Nope.
It ended up.
Yeah, Joseph Harden says, thanks for covering hurricanes this year. I had a blast following you on the Ian hurricane. Yeah, I actually had some fun covering it at the beginning and everything because no one was getting hurt. But after it made landfall in Cuba and after it made landfall in Florida, that's when things got pretty grim for me, honestly. But in the beginning, it was pretty fun to cover. But yeah, thank you very much, Joseph. What were you saying, Ethan?
I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, because I had you on for an interview when Ian was starting to develop. That went over really well. It's unfortunate what happened with that for sure. I hope 2023 really is a better year than 2022. But yeah.
I just hope that really everywhere in the Southeast U.S. catches a break this year. Like, they need it.
Yeah. So anyway,
I hope we get major hurricanes, but I hope that they stay offshore.
They need to stay out to sea.
Don't affect anyone.
Yeah, please. If Hurricane Sam, I am fine with. Just nowhere around us, please.
Yeah, like we need more storms like Lorenzo and Sam that just hang out over the open ocean and do their thing without killing people and destroying stuff.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go.
We've certainly seen way too much of that in the last 5 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream right here, Ethan. I hope, thank you for coming on, dog.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Not a problem. All right.
Anytime.
All right. That being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me out and helps me make more videos like these. The goal of this channel is to get more people engaged with weather. But with that being said, have a wonderful New Year's Eve. Have a wonderful New Year's. And most importantly, stay safe.